Hey everybody, I'm Nick at the Phone, and it's time for another Behind the Ride feature. And this time we have someone very special in this industry. And not only are they a car builder, but also a promoter, which their events can be found on the Phone. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and we're going to get right to it.
Hey everyone, my name is Tommy from iAM, International Auto Modified, as an event organizer, and we'll be having our first event at the Anaheim Convention Center.
Before we get into the event stuff, let's talk a little bit about this beauty and kind of what got you into this whole industry.
Yeah, back in the days, magazine was a thing. Like, we didn't have internet and technology the way we have it now, right? It wasn't accessible, so everything was through magazines, right? I'd go to the grocery store with my mom or my dad, and first thing I would do when we get to the checkout is I hit the news stand, right? With they had Super Street, Import Tuner. But yeah, I mean, it went from replica parts, which I don't encourage people to do. I mean, I understand if it fits your budget, you have to do it, but do it right, because you have to understand the genuine companies that actually spent the time, the R&D, to make these, they make them available for us. And if we buy the replica, they're no longer going to be able to support continuing doing what they're providing for us. And the problem is there's not a lot of efficiency in it, because they don't sell as much as like a car, right? Manufacturer, right? There's a lot of efficiency because they're mass producing, a lot of people are buying it, but this is like a niche market for a lot of people, and they don't sell a lot of it. So that's why the price point feels like it's high, but the R&D and the time that they spent, the resource, is why you're paying for it.
So what was the first car you actually purchased to modify?
It was an MR2. Back in the 90s, we were about conversion. So anybody who knows about conversion, that lived through that, will understand what I'm talking about. It was a wide body MR2. I started fixing it up in about early 2000, and I did RX-7 C-West headlight non-pop-up on it with the wide body, and had S2000 taillight conversion.
Oh, okay.
and that's kind of a dead giveaway what we're looking at right now, right? Yeah. How I got into it, yeah.
So is that something that once you built that, you were like, I want to get into an S2000 like this, or?
You know what, I knew about the car, but what really transpired me and motivated me to get it was I was on the 91 freeway, going westbound, sunset, summertime, and I looked into my door mirror, and I saw this car with the headlights that are now xenon, HID, LED. They were just flickering, and the Honda S2000 are known to have those flickering blue, gold, white color, and I didn't know what it was until it passed by me, and it was a black S2000 top down, and I was like, that's the car that I gotta have. And that's how it started, and I still remember it clear as day. Yeah.
So if you're watching this, you helped him get into an amazing build that is right behind us. We'll get to that in a second, guys, but the quality on like just the parts alone is phenomenal. At what point did you transition into actually working into like a shop in our industry?
It was hard to acquire parts, Japanese parts to be specific. It was hard to acquire them, logistically during that time. I mean, there wasn't a lot of shops doing it, right? So I was like, well, shoot, I'm gonna bring stuff in for myself, and then it became what it is today, right? And it's great because we get to support the consumer and the enthusiasts that are looking for JDM parts, right? And we also encourage people to save money and save for the parts that you want to buy. I get it, it's expensive, but you know what? One step at a time. This is not an overnight project, and I'm sure a lot of builders do say that, but that's the truth. And that's where shows come in, right? You go to a car show. A lot of people go to a car show for different reasons, but my main reason is to go to the car show to show off the work and share the knowledge that I've learned about the parts on this car. Maybe inspire somebody that wants to build an S2000. Show them the right way. I mean, I can't say that's kind of subjective, right? But show them my journey and how I see it, and maybe they can maybe I can inspire them to feel the same way, right? And that's what's the point of going to shows. It should mainly about sharing your build, the artistry behind it, and with the audience, right? Because sometimes they're getting into it, they don't know what they want, right? And it feels good to inspire them.
Yeah. Now, is that kind of what got you into wanting to start your own show?
You know what? That's a a small reason, a percentage of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still a very good reason.
Yeah, but the main reason is, you know, it's the support of the people that makes the show is why I got involved, because I feel like the show itself doesn't provide enough support for everybody that's involved. When I say everyone involved, I mean the three most important people: the companies, vendors, the competitors, and the audience. And you know, over the last decade, I feel like events itself is just has the minimum, you know, offer, right? Okay, you pay for car registration, you compete for an award, you vendor, you sell you a spot, you know, and you know, you kind of run that operation by yourself all day. I'm like, why can't I do an event that's going to support everybody, right? And that's why I wanted to do it.
Now, this is your first year and first event in the States.
That's correct, yes. I've actually been a judge and a consultant overseas in Asia since 2012. Oh, wow. So it's nothing new as far as the organizing part, but actually doing the show in the stateside, yes, it's new to me. And that's what inspired me to do the show too. Maybe I can do a show and make a difference, you know, for a change, right? And it's not about, you know, just doing the show and the rights and the bragging to talk about it. I do it because I love it, you know, and I really want to share my passion, you know, and our event with the audience as well, right?
So what do you look for when you are judging, or even when you attend shows yourself? I see you go to a bunch of different events. A lot of them are ones that we ticket as well. And you're not just going to import shows, you're going to domestic shows. Seen some off-road stuff in there.
Lowrider shows, yeah, no, because you know what? My passion for car, Honda will always have a place in my heart, but everything that connects all of us is the passion for cars. And I think that's the one thing that we all need to remind ourselves, right? Doesn't matter what car we build or what badge is on the hood or bumper of your car, we all share a same common interest, and that's the love for cars, you know, and that's the mission statement behind what iAM is really about, right? Connecting people, getting everybody together, you know, it's not just another car show. It has the, you know, the engagement, the connection, you know, it's more of an intimate community of what, you know, we're trying to achieve. So we hope, you know, that people will respect our vision and, you know, fall in love with that, you know, that concept.
When you're judging or checking a vehicle out, is a paint job like the first go-to thing that you look at, or is it kind of like an overall like theme? What is it that catches your eye specifically about certain builds?
Cleanliness, execution, and just flow. It has to, right? I can't stress enough, just because you have a bunch of stuff on your car doesn't mean that you're gonna win. It doesn't work that way. I mean, you can have everything, and if it doesn't flow and it's not clean, and fit and finish isn't good, you're going to get deduction. And you know, I've judged for a long time, Nick. I've done it for a long time, and I've seen a lot of things, you know. And that's the thing, is cleanliness. Like a car can look like it doesn't have a lot of value, but it's got a ton of value in it, right? Because it's done so well and so clean, right? And that's what we look for, right? You know, having a bunch of just parts slapped on, a lot of people kind of misperceive that judging by a point system, that just because you do that, you'll win. That's not the case, you know. We do that so that we can really dissect a build for build, you know, and compare them from section to section, because as a reminder to us to really understand what's done to each competitor's car, right? And that way we can kind of scrutinize, you know, what's we believe, you know, part for part, right? And that really helps us kind of fine tune, you know, the competitor or the winner, right? So that's the whole point about the judging process, is just to help us really get to familiarize with the car and its mods, you know? Because we go through like 20, 25 cars. I mean, we can't memorize everything, right?
Oh yeah, you know, for somebody who's been judging as much as you, and with all those sheets that I'm sure you've filled out in the past, one thing you're really gonna love that we've been working tirelessly on is a car show judging app that will make anybody that's a judge their life just way simpler, integrated with the vote. So when that's out, I'll be sure that you're right in line to.
Dude, we'll love to beta test that for you. No, that's awesome. I mean, you know, honestly, I mean, your QR code thing is amazing. That actually links them to the profile. And I know that I mentioned that I wanted to do something, and you were really surprised that we're making use of it.
Right.
I'm like, why shouldn't you? You know, I mean, that's why, you know, you have, you know, you're different as far as the ticketing service. You know, you have extras, right? Some extras that you can offer, you know, to your, you know, your customers, right? And that's, I think it's a great thing. We're going to implement that in our show, you know, with the FOAT as our partner.
For those of you who don't know what he's talking about the QR code that is unique to your ride when you register on the FOAT. So whether you just create your profile on the FOAT, or for example, you purchase your ticket for iAM and you have to submit your ride, a QR code is automatically generated that you can print out yourself and put it on your car. And the cool thing about that is when somebody scans it, it'll go straight to your profile, show all your mods. So please, not only just for your sake, but for promoters themselves, fill out everything. Because once you fill it out once, you're done.
Yes. And we, you know, I encourage you guys to do it because it provides the information for your fan base. You know, like I said, someone's going to come to the show. They're not going to know what they like, and they may fall in love with your car. Everyone's car is going to, someone's going to fall in love with it, and they're going to scan it, and they're going to want to follow that journey. You know, so I encourage everybody to fill out that file. I mean, it doesn't take long. It's a one-time deal. If you have extra added mods, you can always go back and edit and add it. It doesn't take that long.
So tell us about this car specifically and what makes this unique.
It's a 2008 Honda S2000 CR, which stands for Club Racer. They only made 800 of them in the US. So it's a limited run. I mean, the motor is the same, but the chassis is stiffer. It has, usually it comes with an OEM hardtop, and the tunnel cover is still on there, and then like a mid-level wing and a front lip. So the suspension is, like I said, it's a bit stiffer. The frame itself, the interior has a couple Alcantara with yellow stitching accent. But you know, other than that, oh, and the cluster, man, it's got a shift light on it. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's built into the OEM cluster, and that's the beauty of the CR. It has that shift light. No other S2000 has that. And the parts on it, I mean, it's ASM, and you know, I learned about ASM when Super Autobox opened in Stanton, California. I think it was in summer of 2003, August to be exact, 2003, and that's how I learned about ASM parts. You know, they were able to import them, and I was able to see them. I'm like, you know what, this is the stuff I want, because I can tell by the quality, and it's tough. It's tough for someone to spend that kind of money on ASM parts without physically seeing it, and I understand, but I mean, they make the best stuff, you know, and they spend a lot of time R&Ding. I mean, everything that you see is ASM, and it flows, and it looks almost factory, right? It doesn't look wild, right? But I mean, you know, that's what I love about their design.
What's next for this? Or would you actually be one of the rare people that ever say, I completed a build?
You know what? I mean, it's complete, but if I had time, I would do work in the engine bay. What I would want to do is to drop in a Toyota 2.35 engine in it. And then, you know, redo the bay, clean up a bit, but I wouldn't do any tucking or you know, I wouldn't deviate from what's like OEM. I would still try to retain the look, because anything goes wrong, if I have an electrical issue, I would like to be able to find that source. So, but we would just clean up a bit, but I mean, that would be the one, like, only thing that I would do for this car. Otherwise, I'm finished with it.
Thank you for taking the time and joining us on this feature. Of course. You have an amazing build.
Thank you.
And who knows, if we get into Behind the Promoter series, I'm going to bring you back on board, and you're going to get more in depth with your event and what the future is for that.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thanks, Nick.
Hey, Tommy, let everybody know where they can follow you guys and learn more about.
Yeah, so we have Instagram. It's iam.america. iam.america, acronym obviously is iam, that's how we say it. You can purchase your tickets through our website or thefoat.com. Through our website is www.iam-america.com.
There you go. And for all of you watching, thank you very much. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms. And if you want a chance to be featured in this and show off your ride, feel free to let us know in the DMs or in the comments. And if it's something that we can make happen, we can make happen. But as always, we'll see you guys at the next event.